Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard. Hi, Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Shannon. I should count in the MakeCode forum.
And we're MakeCoders. I didn't have a plan today until just a few minutes ago, but I think I've got an idea of something to do. Shannon, can you guess what my plan is?
The only thing I can think of is like card game, but that seems like a difficult. Are you gonna make a card game?
That's what we're doing. Okay.
Oh boy.
So, Shannon has been playing Slay the Spire, a game that I like quite a bit and have played many hundreds of hours of. I thought it would be fun to do the basic mechanics of Slay the Spire, and I don't think it's going to be that hard. We're not going to make it a card game. We're not going to do rendering of cards and all of that nonsense that would catch us up. We're going to do really simple UI where you're going to have actions, you're going to draw those, and you're going to attack enemies. That's the basic idea. So we're going to start out with that basic mechanics, but Shannon, would you like to give us a brief intro about how Slay the Spire works?
Sure, I can do my best. So it's a card game in that you have like a hand of cards, and you're drawing from a deck, and you play these cards, and you can only play a certain number of cards each turn, and then your enemy gets to like play some cards, and you're trying to like beat them. So the interesting thing I think about Slay the Spire is that you're building your deck as you like go through like a map. So you can like do fights to get cards, or there's like a shop where you can buy things or heal. So yeah, it's a deck building roguelite.
Yeah. I don't differentiate between roguelikes and roguelites. Some people like to say that, and it's like, it's only a roguelike if it is exactly the same as Rogue was, and that wasn't a great game. So
yeah.
I say that we might as well just call the genre what it is. All right, yeah. So we're going to be doing an RPG, basically. We've done RPGs on stream before, and I went ahead and added the extensions that I know we're going to use. So first off, I added story. Might seem weird, but story is actually extremely useful for when you're doing stuff like RPGs, because it lets you do a lot of like async stuff and just make sure that things happen in an order and have text and stuff print out and, like actually take time. It's really useful. I also added status bars because that's useful for displaying things like health. And I added sprite utils because we always use sprite utils. All right, and Shannon, what part of this game are you interested in doing art for?
I could do enemies.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have? Oh, also Kiwi Phoenix says Paper Mario Sticker Star / Color Splash.
It is similar to Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Is that also a deck building?
It's not deck building, but what it is it's an RPG, and you play attacks by these stickers that you collect. This is a game that I have not actually played, despite the fact that I own it. I bought it for my brother one year as a gift, and he was getting rid of all of his 3DS games recently, and he gave it to me, so it ended up back to me. Yeah, so basically you have these stamps. These stamps are different attacks that you can use. And when you use them, it's, like your attack. So it doesn't have the deck building. It doesn't have the random draw thing, I don't think. Maybe it does. But it does have the idea of it's an RPG, but you have these cards basically that dictate what you're doing. All right. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and create a basic set of cards. How are we going to make these cards? Well, I think we're going to add mechanics one by one. And the things I want to have right now is some basic mechanics in Slay the Spire, which is block and attack. So you have a character, they can block, which makes them negate damage that they would otherwise take, or attack, where, they go ahead and they deal damage. Your character will also have health, and the enemies will have health. We're going to do that, and we'll see where we go. So I'm going to make a function, and it's going to be called start encounter.
Also, we need to do themes and sizes for sprites.
Themes and sizes. What theme do you want to do? I think we're pretty wide open on this. It could be anything.
That's true. We do have some standbys. Chat, let us know if you have a theme that you think would be fun.
Let's do something different than what we normally do. So no ghosts, no birds.
No fungi.
Sure, yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave this to you. I'm gonna keep coding.
Island.
I feel like we need something that has a lot of creatures associated with it.
The ocean does.
It's true. We do ocean a lot, though.
We do ocean a lot, but let's see. Is there an island spin? I could attempt to do like sort of glyph looking, sort of like the Phoenix from the Phoenix Quest art. So like,
oh, that's fun.
Like, yeah, like Mayan glyph looking things, which would be like Jungle Island, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm creating some functions right now, some functions I just know I'm going to need. So I have do player turn, which is where we're going to fill in all of the player turn stuff. Do enemy turn, which is where we're going to do the enemy AI. And we need one more, which is going to be is encounter over. And this one is going to return something. So this is going to return a Boolean. So right now, we're just going to go ahead and put in return, and we're going to always return false. And I'm doing this because I'm going to put this inside of a while loop. So I'm going to use a while loop right here. I'm going to go and do is encounter over, and I'm going to put that inside of a not. So while not is encounter over, we're going to call do player turn. We're going to call do enemy turn, and we're going to put in a safety pause because we don't have anything async happening yet. And we want to make sure that our game doesn't freeze as soon as I call this function. And now I'm going to go ahead and call start encounter. All right, very exciting. Okay, so we have the basic structure of our program. So let's start filling in the details. So I want to have a list of things that are going to happen on the player turn because it's kind of structured. The same thing's going to happen every turn, but we need to be able to know what we are doing. So first, we have player gains energy. Right? Sorry, it has been so long since I've played Slay the Spire, despite the fact that I've played hundreds of hours. But you start out getting no energy per turn, 1 energy per turn, and then it goes up by 1 each turn until you get. Oh no, it doesn't.
That's Hearthstone.
That is Hearthstone. Yeah. So wait, how does it work in Slay the Spire?
You have 3, and it refills each turn.
Got it. Okay. So we set our energy to be equal to 3 and 2. We are going to draw cards. 3. The player is going to give player chooses cards to play. 4. The player runs out of energy or chooses to end turn. And then 5, enemy turn. Then we start back over again. The enemy, we can cheat. We don't need to follow all of these steps. Okay. So there are some sub items for this. Like when the player chooses the cards to play, we're going to have some separate things for that. But for now, let's just start with this basic stuff. So the idea, we were talking about energy, and the idea is each card has a cost to play. So for example, if I want to do a punch, that could cost 1 energy. So if I wanted and I had 3 punch cards in my hand, I could do punch, punch, punch. Similarly, you might have a card that costs 3 energy, and that's all you get to do your turn. You might have a card that costs 4 energy, and you have to do something special to get an extra energy. So you don't get to keep your energy when it rolls over, but there's like ways to do that.
Steven
Okay.
Phoenix suggests that the player should have a weak attack that he can do even if he has no cards.
Yeah, that's totally a thing. So we could do that too. There's kind of a downside to that too, which will let's not get into super card building mechanics right now. But if you have a bunch of weak attacks in your deck, then there's a chance your turn will just draw a bunch of weak attacks, and that's no good. And I forgot one thing here, which is player discards. Forget. So you discard. How many cards do you discard?
All of them.
Okay, yeah. So you draw 5 cards each turn, and you discard all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's also a thing I figured out halfway through. I was like, they all like disappear, and I was like, oh, they're helpfully hiding my hand in the UI, and then bringing it up so I can see the cards again. Didn't realize that they were all just different cards.
Yeah. Again, for some reason I can't remember the mechanics of this game very well, and I can remember the mechanics of Hearthstone super well, despite the fact that I've probably played them in equal amount. Okay, but it just goes to show.
Hearthstone more recently.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely not. I played Hearthstone when it came out, and I played it for a while, but not recently. Okay. So let's go ahead and start doing these things. We're going to need some variables to keep track of this stuff. So we're going to have the hand. This is going to be the cards we currently have. And this is going to be an array. Make it an empty array for now. We're going to have the deck. This is going to be another array. We're going to make it an empty array for now. And we have the discard. And that's also going to be an empty array. We have the current amount of energy that we have. That's going to be a number. We have the current, let's see. I think that's pretty much it actually that we need right now. So yeah, we'll go ahead and keep that. So when we start an encounter, we're going to go ahead and generate our things. So I'm actually going to set our hand to be empty when we start the encounter. I'm also going to set discard to be empty. We want that to happen every time we start an encounter. And we want to set our deck to be an array of cards. So let's go ahead and make those cards because we need something that we can draw before we can write our draw code. So I'm going to make a basic function now, and this is going to be create card. This is going to take in a few things. It's going to take in text, which is going to be a name. It's going to take in a number, which is going to be its cost. And it's going to take in a image, which is going to be its image. So what they actually see on the screen. And I think instead of doing like cards that have text and stuff, we're just going to do really simple. We're going to have an icon, and that's it. We're not going to show any text. The idea is if you see a punch icon, it's always going to do the same punch, And we might have a poison icon. It's always going to poison, same way. We're just going to keep this simple for now because I want to keep this as light on UI as we can. All right, I need to add another extension, which I should have thought of, which is arcade sprite data.
Wait, Richard, do you want me to do icons first? And if so?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which and what size?
Punch and block. And let's make, let's see, 16 by 16.
Okay.
Give them a border.
Cool. Block is just going to be a shield.
Yeah, that's fine. And punch doesn't have to be punch, just an attack of some kind, And let's see. So we're doing like glyphs and stuff. So I'll make the background forest for now, I guess. We'll do an actual background later. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a sprite here. going to call this new card. And we're going to add a new kind, which is card, because we're going to be good. And we're going to go ahead and put in our image. Now let's go ahead to the Sprite data, and we're going to store a few things. We're going to store the name. So go ahead and put this right here. And this name is going to be important. It's what we're going to use to do the effects of the card. Like we'll probably have a function later that's like do card, and it's going to take in the name of the card and the target and whoever's using the card. And then we can go ahead and resolve everything. So we're going to be using that name for that. So we need to make sure we give everything a good descriptive name that we can remember. So we also need to set our cost. So let's go ahead and to do that, we're going to go ahead and change this to new card and put cost right there and put cost in here. And now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and return this. So function return new card. Collapse. Go away. All right. Now that we have the function to create a card, let's go ahead and create a deck. This is going to be our basic deck that we use for testing. So I'm going to put in a number of cards. You know what? Actually, let's just set this to be an empty array, and we're going to make a function which is generate deck. We might end up getting rid of this function later. So I want to have all of this code kind of contained, you know, so that I can get rid of it later if I want to. All right, so inside of here, we're going to do set deck to empty array. And we're now going to do a repeat. We're going to repeat 10 times, or no, we'll repeat 5 times. Repeat 5 times. And we're going to add in a, let's see, deck add value. We're going to call our create card function. And we're going to do attack, cost 1, and we're going to give it a image. Here's a ham. And this one's going to be block. It also costs 1. This one's going to be a strawberry. All right, and let's call this function. And this will give us a fake deck, which is nice. All right, cool. You can see our deck here. So we've got a bunch of strawberries and a bunch of hams, but they're all on top of each other. So, you know, you can't really see them. What we want to do is we want to make sure that when we are doing all of these cards, we are creating a, well, first off, we're creating a glyph for our cards, but we also need to show how much they cost. And so, Shannon, what do you think? Should I make it so that the sprite itself has the cost of the card on it? Or do you think I should make it so there's some UI element that tells you what cost it is when you go over it?
I mean, I think it would be, well, okay. Are we doing like 3 energy or?
Yeah.
Let's just put it on the sprite. Why not?
Okay. So the way we're going to do this is you don't have to draw it though. I'm going to do it. So don't worry.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to put it in the upper left corner. And I'll probably make the sprite a bit bigger so that I'm not overlapping your artwork too much. So the way this is going to work is we're going to go back to our create card function. Where's that? Oh yeah, over here. And luckily, I added the sprite util function class because that's going to be really useful for this. So let's make this 24 by 24. So we have some extra wiggle room. We're going to go ahead and use a block from the Sprite utils, which is draw image to image. And we're going to draw to the image of our new sprite. So put that right here. It's a new card.
Vivian is in chat.
Vivian, why aren't you here, Vivian?
Vivian asks, are we making Slay the Spire?
You know it.
Yeah.
Shannon didn't do it though. I did it.
True. My usual.
Shannon was like, "That's going to be too complicated."
But yeah, this is my usual. I don't have an idea for stream strategy, which is what game am I playing and what small part of it can we recreate in pixels.
Yep. All right, we're now going to do a trick I learned from Vivian.
I think about her often.
Yeah, it's a shame we lost her in that fire. Okay, we're going to set this text sprite to just be a text sprite, and we're going to set it to be invisible because we don't actually want to see it. Turn that on. And to make the text on our sprite, instead of creating a bunch of text sprites, we want to just draw it to the image. We're going to just set our text sprite text right here to be whatever the cost of our sprite is. So let's go ahead and grab a join block to convert it into a string. Text join. Like that. And now, just like we were doing this draw of our regular image, I'm going to draw the text sprite's image onto our card. But we want to make it so that when we are drawing our text sprite image, we're doing it at 0, 0 instead of 8, 8. Not 80, 80. Look at that. We have a 1. Really nifty. We're going to have to adjust these numbers a bit, but that's fine. Let's give it something behind it so that we aren't actually doing just a floating number because it's a little hard to read. So let's go back into Sprite Utils, and there is a draw circle function. So we will draw a circle on our image. So let's make this the new card image. We're going to make this 4, 4, and 4. And okay, there. Yeah, look, we got a circle. That's a little bit, probably want to do fill circle, I realize now. And let's go ahead and move over our number a little bit to be at 2, 2. See if that puts it more centered. All right, it's centered on the X. We want to center the Y also though, so we'll just make our Y 1. Yeah, okay. That works. Maybe I'll go up 1. I wanted to avoid this because I'm gonna have to. No, it's okay. I'll just make it 5, 5, 5. Then hopefully everything will be good. Yeah, okay, that works. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. Let's make the cost 2 and see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
What?
I had an idea, but you did do all this.
What's the idea?
The idea is you could just put like dots to show the cost.
Oh. Yeah, that would look better.
Numbers are here, so we could just do the numbers.
That would look so much better, though. All right, we'll leave it as is for now so that we can keep on checking, but I might go back and change it. Okay, we're going to make this image a bit smaller. We'll do like 20 by 20, and we're going to have to adjust our thing a bit. So we need to, we subtracted 4, so we can just do 4, 4 for our image. And there we go. We have the full strawberry. We have a number that's overlapping it. Maybe a little too much, but it's fine for now. All right. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Okay. So we've got our create card function. No, I need to adjust this a bit. We'll make it 21, 21, and then we'll make this 5, 5. No, not 45, 45.
Okay, Richard, I have a attack image, but if you can't tell what it is, I will make a different one. I tried something and I don't know if it worked. So
okay. First we're doing block. So I have already copied it. Let me go over to our block code. So right now it is the strawberry field. Nice. If you use a different color for this then pink.
Oh yeah, feel free to change it to whatever color. I just picked 2, but
that's all right. I changed the number color.
Nice.
Okay. Now we get rid of the ham, and this is the claws.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Okay. All right. So we've got our basic deck now. We have 5 attacks. We have 5 blocks. So what are we going to do now? We are going to make it so that we can actually draw some cards. First, though, we need to shuffle our deck. So let's go ahead and make a function for it. Shuffle deck. We're going to make another array, which is going to be called temp deck. And the way that we do shuffling is actually pretty easy. So all we're going to do is repeat a number of times. We're going to go ahead and go into math and do the length of our deck minus 1. And for our temp deck, all we're going to do is add value at end. We're going to add inside of arrays, we have a get random value from list. We can't actually use that though. So we'll use get and remove value at, and we'll do deck. And we're going to go into math and do pick random from 0 to the length of the array deck minus 1. Maybe we should do this inside of a while loop, I'm realizing. No, this should be, yeah, we need to do this inside of a while loop. And that's kind of subtle. Good thing I'm a programmer. I don't know if I would be able to, because it says repeat blank times, right? And so if I repeat length of array deck minus 1, I would expect that to go 20 times if I had 20 cards in my deck, right? But if I'm removing things from my deck, it's not going to go 20 times. It's going to go 10 times.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before, and I've been on this team for quite a while.
The plus side, though, arrays do tend towards more advanced, so.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Here is our deck shuffling function, and all we need to do at the end of this is we set our deck to be our temp deck. So we're creating an empty deck. We are randomly picking cards from our deck and adding them to our temp deck, or empty deck, and then we are returning that temp deck. So because we're getting them in a random order, that's what shuffling is. All right, so let's go ahead and call this function now. We're going to call shuffle deck. Oh, sorry, I want to call this inside of start encounter. Nice. Okay. So now that our deck is shuffled, let's go ahead and write our draw function. So I'm going to make a function for this. I'm going to be creating a lot of functions today. I already have, but draw cards. This is going to take in a number, which is going to be called num2draw. And we are going to use a repeat block for this. So we're going to go ahead and put in a repeat and do num2draw. And we're going to, for each of these, take our hand array and add a value to the end. And it's going to be whatever the first card in our deck is. So let's go to arrays. We're going to do get and remove first value because we want to remove them as we draw them. There you go. All right. So now we can draw however many number of cards. So let's go over to our player turn. And the first thing we're going to do is draw 5 cards. Okay. After we've drawn our cards, we need to put these somewhere on the screen. So I'm thinking we're just going to lay them out on the bottom of the screen, and we'll give the player a cursor for selecting between them. So one thing that might be fun is to actually animate this, the drawing process. So as you draw, they go ahead and zoom on over to where they're supposed to be. So let's take our draw cards function, and we're actually going to change it so that we can do this little animation thing I was just talking about. So what I want to do is I want to go into story and grab the move to one, which is right here. So whenever we do this, we're going to be, let's see, we're going to make this drawn card. Here, go ahead and put this inside of a variable. Go ahead and add our drawn card to the hand. And we want it to move to a location. So we're going to be doing, oh, I got an error right now. We'll fix that in a second. So I want to make it so that we are moving to like the bottom of the screen. So we're going to move to the same Y every time, which is probably going to be like 110. And then for the X, we're going to use the length of our hand and use that as like a guide. So we'll get the length of the array hand. We're going to do a little bit of math. So we will do some number plus the length of this times something. So the length of the array, how big are our sprites again? 21 by 21. So we're going to do the length of the array times 21, and we will add 10 to give us a little bit of padding. All right, now who's unhappy? Failed cast on undefined. So drawn card, get and remove first value from hand. And let's see, I did call draw cards, right? So there we go, hand. Oh, I'm removing a card from hand. I should be removing it from the deck. Nice. That's pretty cool. Whoa. How many cards did I draw? Okay, I just drew my entire deck.
A lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the reason that's happening is because right now our turn just goes forever, right? Because we are doing we're calling do player turn, then do enemy turn, then pause 100. So right now the player is just going over and over and over again, which is not what we want. So what we're going to do is we are going to now make a function which is going to be called discard cards. And this is going to, let's edit this function. We're going to change num to draw to be num to discard. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do get and remove first value from the hand. We're going to do discard pile, add drawn card to end, and then we're going to have this move to like the discard pile location. So where does this go? Where is the discard pile located? Just like off the screen somewhere? So like X 180.
Yeah. You don't have to be able to see it, right? It just like goes away, or? Nice.
So, I didn't. Oh, this is the quarter. Darn it.
Oh.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I just earned a quarter. I forgot to call this function.
Vivian says, "Nyum, nyum, nyum, nyum."
All right, so we discard our cards, and then they're all going to move. They're all gonna, get discarded, and then we're gonna draw 5 more. Nice. Okay, and it's angry at me, but that's fine. Okay, so that's all working. What we want to do though is we want to make it so it doesn't crash when when we run out of cards. And so the way we do that is when the length of our deck is equal to 0. So let's go ahead and put this inside of here. Do a length on our array. Then we are going to set the deck to be our discard. And set our discard to be the empty array. All right, I need to speed this up quite a bit.
Richard, this glyph concept is going to be, I may have overreached, but we're doing some things.
Yeah.
Don't think they're gonna look very good. But we're in it now.
Okay. And we're also going to call shuffle deck when we do this. Okay, so let's just watch us draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, so the order is changing. Oh, wow, we eventually got to a crash. I wonder why that happened. Well, we definitely have something weird going on because there's also this one sprite that's being left behind. So we need to figure out why that's happening. Okay, so let's see. We're calling draw cards 5. We're saying if the length of the array equals 0, then we go ahead and do this. Otherwise, we set drawn card to be the removed value. We add the value to the end. We drawn card move to that location. That all looks good. We have our shuffle deck function, which might be making a mistake. Let's go check that out. So we have while the length of the array deck -1 is greater than 0. Oh, that's not what we want to do. While the length of the array deck is greater than 0. There you go. Now we shouldn't have a card left behind. Good. Okay. So when you draw some cards, they go ahead and put in there. We can see them all coming up and going away. And they're coming up in a different order each time because our deck is being shuffled. Cool. All right. Well, I like this so far. It looks nice. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and do the selecting of a card. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and create a cursor sprite. So if you haven't guessed, this is going to be a multiple stream game. But we're gonna get the basics done today, I think. We got 20 minutes left. All right, so our cursor is just gonna be a good old triangle. And maybe we'll make it look nicer later. Whoops. There we go. Okay, we're going to make a variable. It's going to be called cursor index. And what we're going to do now is we're going to write the code for us to actually do our choosing. So I'm going to go back to our doPlayerTurn function. And right now we have this draw 5 cards and discard cards. We need to write some code basically that's going to pause until our player turn goes forward. And so there is a way for us to do this. We're going to make a variable. We're going to call this is player choosing card. We're going to set this to be true. And we're going to put in a while loop here. This while loop is going to have a pause inside of it. And we're just going to loop while the player is choosing the card with a pause inside. So what this is going to do is it is going to make our game pause until we actually do something. And then it's going to keep going to the discard and come back. So we can now go write our code elsewhere that's going to do the actual choosing. And then we will, once they make a choice, we set this to be false. This will stop executing, and then we will discard our cards and draw more cards. Let's do that. Let's go make some controller stuff. So I'm going to do a left button press and a right button pressed for selecting our card. And we're going to do an A for selecting a card. So let's go ahead and do on A button pressed. All we're going to do right now is set is player choosing card to be false. Okay, so we can test this out already. Go ahead, if I press A, there you go. You can see I discard and draw. Cool. All right, now to make this a little bit more, I don't want all of the sprites starting in the beginning, like in the middle of the screen like they are right now. I'm gonna go back over to my create card function real quick. And we're just gonna put in a set position block down here at the bottom. And we're just gonna set the position to be where I put the discard pile. So let's see, new card, we'll make this 180 and 110. Just to clean up the UI a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and position our cursor. I'm going to make a function for this. So it's going to be called position cursor. It's going to take in a number, which is going to be index. And when we call this function, we're going to set that cursor index I made before to be whatever the index is. And we're going to center our sprite above our card. So we can do that using our hand variable. We'll just do hand get value at. And we'll get the value at our cursor index. And this gives us the sprite that we want to center on top of. Now we're going to use our cursor, and we're going to set the x to be the same as the x of our hand sprite. And we're going to set the bottom of our cursor to be the top And probably, well, actually, you know what? That's probably fine. Right. Oh, that's a second quarter. Oh my gosh.
Wow, Richard. There are a lot of functions.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do the position cursor with the left and right buttons. So for this one, we're just going to do cursor index -1. For this one, we're going to do cursor index +1. And now in here, we're going to do the actual clamping stuff. So what we want to do is if.
Richard, Vivian says, let her go make tea. Stop quarters.
What?
She you keep getting quarters, and so she can't get up and go make tea. There's no break time.
Oh, I see.
Between quarters.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I don't work on your schedule. Stop trying to control me. So if this is, if index is less than 0, then we are going to wrap around. So I'm just going to do set cursor index to cursor index. See, I want to do a remainder of. And then I want to do index plus, see, I want remainder of, I already got that. And then index plus the length of our array hand -1. Or is it just length? It might just, yeah, no, it's -1. And that's going to make it wrap around. Trust me, that's how modulo works. And otherwise, we are going to set cursor index to be remainder of index and the length of array hand, like this. All right, let's see if I did that right. Very possible I didn't. Okay, draw my hands. Go ahead and move my cursor. So, woo. All right, so going to the right works. Going to the left is off by 1. Let's fix that. Oh, right, I just want to add length of array, actually, I think. Oh, you know, that can't be right. Oh, it is right. Whoops, all right, whatever. If it works, it works. Okay, cool. So we have a cursor, we can move around. And Shannon, do you have any sprites for me yet?
I have a lot of attempts, but they're not good.
I just need something to put it in.
Huh?
I just need something to put in.
Okay, yeah, let me give you this. I'm remaking the dolphin to be, I guess, kind of better.
Are you giving me a Sprite pack?
No, I'm just gonna give you one Sprite for now.
Good, yeah.
Progress has been very slow. Okay.
This 16 by 16?
Yeah, it's 16 by 16. I have a 32 by 32 one, which you can also look at. They're both not good. It's a dolphin.
Oh, I see it now.
I put the bigger one in. Yeah,
it's missing the dorsal fin, I think is what's throwing me off.
It is missing the dorsal fin.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's good.
It's something.
Okay. So what are we going to do now? So some cards are going to let us target something. So for example, attack. Let's say we have 2 enemies that we're fighting against. which one do we punch? Some cards don't have us target something, like block. That always just applies to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a function that is going to be called does this card target something? And it's going to take in the name of the card. It's going to return a Boolean. So let's go ahead and put in an if. We're going to do name equals, and we will put in attack. Then we're going to, go to functions, do return true. And at the bottom of this, we will return false. So this doesn't really need to be an if statement right now because we only have attack. But once we have more cards, we might have more that can target something. So I'm going to write it this way to make it easier on me in the future. All right. So let's go ahead and do our card playing now. So we have a function which is going to be called do card. It's going to take in the name of the card. It's going to take in the target, and it's going to take in the source. We'll see if we end up using that, but I'm going to just do it for now because I think we might end up using that eventually. Okay, so let's do an if. We are going to do if the card does target something. So let's go ahead and do does this card target something? And we're going to put in the name of our current card. So we're going to go into arrays, do a get value at 0, change this to be hand, put in cursor index, and then get the name out of this. So if this does target something, we're going to have to do something. Otherwise, we're just going to call do card. And we're going to pass in the name just like we did before. We're going to pass in the source. Targets first, which is just going to be the player because we didn't have to select anyone. Oh, I haven't even created a player. Like, why can't I find this? Doesn't exist. Ooh, we have more things from Shannon. First, we have better dolphin? Question mark. We'll let you be the judge, chat.
The other thing is not it was just the bigger dolphin, which I think is worse.
Oh, this is better. Yeah. I just don't know if it screams dolphin, but you can definitely see it when it's pointed out to you.
I think that's going to be the case for all of these guys.
Feel free to switch it up if you're not a fan of this.
Not a fan. I feel like it would be good. Like maybe Vivian could pull this off. Let me hear. I have another example.
All right. Change this to be the player. Change this to be the player. There we go. And now what we're going to do is, okay, we got another example from Shannon.
These are all creatures that were suggested by chat.
Oh, nice. This is two friends.
They're penguins?
Aw, they are friends. I mean, I can definitely tell that there's two guys.
Yeah, that's right. And what is a penguin if not just a guy? A guy that's a friend.
Mm-hmm. All penguins are friends with each other. It's a very amicable species. All right, we're running out of time here. But so what are the things we're going to do next time? So we have our cards that are being dealt and drawn. We want to be able to select a card, which we've done. We want to select an enemy. And once we have selected an enemy, we do the card effect, which is going to be probably, if it's an attack, it's going to be like decreasing their health. Or, it can be other effects. We could have like a steel health card, or we could have a poison card, or things like that. For now, we're just going to do attack. And then we will do the enemy's turn. Or if you still have energy left over, we'll go back to choosing another card. So let's call it here for now. I think next time we'll be, at the end of next stream, we'll be more in a place where we have like a functional game. Either we will be or we'll be really close. So tune in then. Also, let us know if you liked this. If you want us to work on a different game, that's totally okay too. But I think this game's going to be pretty cool once we have it going. So stay tuned. Anyway, this has been Make Coders. I'm Richard, Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Shannon. I should count on the MakeCode forum.
And Shannon, what do you think about changing your name so that it starts with a Z?
So we could be, interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Z is just S backwards. I could be Xanon.
Xanon.
That's French.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.